we see any form of speak around hatred or anything where it says that one group of people has some kind of authority or power or moral superiority over another group of people. That's just not the case. Now, I don't want to say anything more about that because that's not the real message I want to talk about. The second message I want to talk about is what I saw coming out of such an unspeakable tragedy. And Miss St. George and I said the same thing, said this, I couldn't agree with her more. She said she couldn't be more proud to be a Kiwi when she saw the response. From Jacinda Ardern all the way down to people in Parliament and everyday people in New Zealand. And one thing about New Zealanders, they're not politically correct people. They don't mind saying things that we would probably find a bit offensive. But to see what happened in Christchurch for the people of New Zealand would have been absolutely abhorrent. It would have been the most horrific thing for them to see. And the response is what heartened me. Because right from Jacinda Ardern showing incredible compassion, genuine compassion, and empathy and love and outreach, and to the everyday people that went into the mosques and went to the people and said that they're there for them and that they're there to support them. That is the response that we need to see when we see these acts of hatred, when we see these acts of violence, is to respond with compassion and with empathy. I loved it when Jacinda Ardern said, "We will not speak the perpetrator's name, because we will not give that person oxygen. Instead, we will focus on the victims. We will focus on those that need our support and our help and our healing." And I think that's what made me so proud to be a New Zealander, and that's the model that New Zealanders, from the leadership all the way down, gave the rest of the world about how we respond to hate, how we respond to anger, and how we respond to violence. And the last thing I want to say relates to the service that we're going to have today about concepts of truth and reconciliation, ways of knowing, and truth and reconciliation with our Indigenous communities, both at home here, but around the world. One of the reasons why New Zealand, I believe, personally, one of the reasons, not the reason, but one of the reasons why they were able to go through the process of healing so quickly and so well was their relationship with the New Zealand Maori, the Indigenous people of New Zealand, and their embracing of the bicultural community. Because it was through traditional Indigenous protocols and practices such as the haka, waiata, karakias, things like that, that were able to go through the process of healing. And I think that's another model that we have for here. As I mentioned about white supremacy, I think it's also very easy to forget that it was the same, it's not that different from what happened in the colonial days, when there was another form of white supremacy happening that led to the hurt and the brokenness that we have in our communities and between our Indigenous and non-Indigenous communities in Canada. So when we look to what happened, we will pray for the victims, but we'll look to hope, we'll look to optimism, we'll look for those acts of empathy and understanding and compassion, and hopefully, and I believe we can, if we take the model of not only what we saw in response in New Zealand, but also the model of what we're going to see here today, that we can bring a message of love and justice and courage and empathy and compassion. Now I'm going to pass over to Yassin, Reda, who was one of the people that wanted to speak. He approached me. He's going to speak in a couple minutes. He's going to ask you at the end to stand for a minute's silence, and from that minute's silence, we're going to go into the opening hymn.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. The terrible event on the World Trade Center in the USA on September 9/11 has for sure opened a new chapter in history for the growth of Islamophobia. This was supported and aided by the media. I'm sure that this was not the chapter that our generation wished to experience. But recently, on March 15, the New Zealand mosque shooting was a sad day for everyone, and has shocked the world, all religions, and faiths. 49 innocent souls lost their lives, while 20 were seriously injured. The reason is due to the misinterpretations of these shooters, since they thought that Islam was terrorism. This is why it's important to clarify today what it means to be a Muslim. Me, my brothers, and many other Muslims have been taught from our earliest years that our religion is a religion of peace. A religion of peace. Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, said, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. Meaning, none of you has faith until you love for your neighbor what you love for yourself. This is what it means to be a Muslim. Among the very names of God, we hear the compassionate and the merciful. All my life, every day, I've heard the word Assalamu alaikum, a wish for the other to be blessed with peace. This is what it means to be a Muslim. The essence of Islam revolves around virtues and moral values and behaviors, rather than appearance and worship practices. This is what it means to be a Muslim. As Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمْ مَكَارِمِ الْأَخْلَاقِ. Meaning, indeed, I have only been sent to complete the noble qualities of morals. More than 1,000 years ago, Muslim soldiers were ordered to not kill a man, to not kill a child or a woman, to not destroy a tree, harm a priest, and to not destroy a church. These are the same values I, as a Muslim, have been taught. Not to destroy a place where God is worshipped, not a mosque, not a synagogue, and for sure not a church. In Islamic faith, the Quran reveals that, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, إِنَّهُ مَنْ قَتَلَ نَفْسًا بِغَيْرِ نَفْسٍ أَوْ فَسَادٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ فَكَأَنَّمَا قَتَلَ النَّاسَ جَمِيعًا وَمَنْ أَحْيَاهَا فَكَأَنَّمَا أَحْيَا النَّاسَ جَمِيعًا. Meaning, in the name of God, the most merciful, the most compassionate, he who kills an innocent soul is as if he has killed the whole of humanity. And he who saves an innocent soul is as if he has saved the whole of humanity. What more examples of compassion and mercy do you have than this? I'm here today not to defend myself as a Muslim, but I'm here to defend my faith. The first verse of the Quran reads the spirit of peace. It reads, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, meaning, in the name of God, the most merciful, the most compassionate. This verse is repeated no less than 114 times in the Quran. 114 times. It shows the great importance Islam attaches to such values as mercy and compassion. One of God's names, according to the Quran, is As-Salam, which means peace. These are my values of being a true Muslim. And remember, terrorism has no religion. So next time you think of Islam, don't think of terrorism, think of peace, mercy, and compassion. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. Could you kindly stand up as we observe together a minute of silence in respect for all the witnesses that are after